Okay, let's jump right into today's explainer of New Teen Freedom 3, specifically focusing on Chapter 3. We are unpacking the deeply philosophical mechanics of what the text calls the identity hijack. If you've been following along, you know this whole world is a fascinating thought experiment. But today, well, things get intensely personal, touching on themes we're seeing all over the internet right now.
So think about this for a second. What actually happens when you completely remove all the rules and just let feelings dictate reality? We're pulled right into this gorgeous, vibrant library scene, but it's not quiet desks and dusty books. It's transformed into this surreal validation center filled with glowing screens and plush beanbags. Imagine a bunch of 25-year-olds in normal, everyday clothes hanging out in a serene space where internal feelings are literally the only authority that matters. Let's see how that actually plays out.
Section 1. The Identity Hijack. Claiming the Abstract.
Section 2. Weaponizing Emotional Boundaries.
To see how this works in practice, we look at an intense argument over claimed digital identities that leaves shattered school laptops all over the floor, when a pretty grounded 25-year-old student named Evan just asks for some help sweeping up the broken glass before someone gets hurt. A peer flatly refuses with those exact words. "I have to honor my emotional capacity. I'm setting a boundary." I mean, they say it almost like they're reading directly off a script. The text points out how therapeutic language is being completely weaponized here. It's not about actual healing or safety at all. It's just a convenient shield to evade basic accountability and avoid cleaning up a literal physical mess.
And this sets up a brilliant stark comparison. The perceived reality for these young adults is that they're setting healthy boundaries, right? But the cosmic reality, according to the text, is completely different. By constantly fleeing even the tiniest bit of discomfort, they are actively stunting their own inner growth. Look, we've all been tempted to use self-care as an excuse to avoid doing the dishes. But in this universe, relying on that emotional bubble severely weakens their spiritual endurance. It effectively locks them into a state of permanent childhood.
Section 3. The Compliance Mandate.
Picture this. A student stands up on a table, adjusts their outfit, and makes this sweeping proclamation to the whole room, demanding absolute, unquestioning agreement from their peers. No exceptions. The rules of this hijack are incredibly strict. They proclaim that they exist beyond biology strictly as an abstract living idea. They mandate that everyone around them must use their exact words and see them exactly as they see themselves. And any non-compliance? Well, that's viewed as a direct attack on their very existence. Ultimately, the text notes this is just an attempt to dictate reality, reducing real, living people to nothing more than background props who are only there to provide validation.
So, what happens if that validation gets denied? That's when we're introduced to the imaginary audience. The text defines this as a mental construct of observers that causes absolute panic when a highly curated identity is questioned. When another character, Diesel, bluntly insults the person on the table, it detonates this imaginary audience right in their mind. Evelyn, watching this happen, notes that their energy scrambles into snarled ropes of wasted light. Put simply, their entire existence is so glued to what other people think that a single insult causes a total system crash.
Section 4. The Immunity of Passivity.
Now, when the totally exhausted library monitor finally steps in to deal with those broken laptops, we see exactly how the system enables this behavior. This brings us to the degradation cycle. People actually pull out digital waivers on their phones to excuse the mess, claiming they're protected by overwhelm. And the monitor, who's been told by experts that forcing accountability is harmful, just sighs and walks away. The cycle is stark, fleeing discomfort, relying on digital waivers, and steadily weakening that inner will to stand up and fix anything. Because they firmly believe someone else will clean it up, they unknowingly stack up hardened spiritual weight. And the crazy part? Nobody bends down to pick up a single piece of glass.
Section 5. The Inescapable Cosmic Ledger.
Enter Serpent. He's the architect of this chaos, just watching it all unfold from behind a shelf of neglected philosophy books. Playing the impartial observer, he breaks down the hidden cosmic cost of all this. By adopting these extreme identities just for clout, they're crowning their lower minds as gods. They might think they're being rebels, but really, they're volunteering to be energetic batteries for the system, literally feeding hungry thought forms hidden inside social media trends. And because they refuse to clean up their own messes, that spiritual damage hardens right into their energy belts like heavy stone. It's essentially like paying a cosmic tax with your own sanity.
Which brings us to this incredibly chilling quote from the source material. Cosmic law doesn't accept screenshots or waivers. Every mess they stack up is theirs to carry.
You see, Serpent totally neutralizes their illusion of a magic savior. That comforting idea that a blanket of endless forgiveness will just magically swallow the cost of their actions. He reveals the harsh cosmic reality here. The bill for all that wasted light and avoided accountability, it always comes due in full, out here in the real world.
And that leaves us with this final provocative thought. If cosmic law never loses the paperwork, who exactly is going to pay your bill when that imaginary savior never shows up? It's a heavy, undeniable truth of how this world works, and it really leaves you wondering how long anyone could survive under that kind of self-inflicted spiritual gravity. Chapter 3 really forces us to take a hard look at the intersection of modern internet identity, personal accountability, and the very real hidden costs of avoiding reality.